Welcome into the Snapped Podcast, my personal audio journal. My name is Tyler Kluber. I'm a personal trainer and podcaster, but it gets a little bit deeper than that, and this show is going to give you an inside look on my thoughts concerning health and fitness, business, mindset, and creating the life that you feel lucky to live. I hope you enjoy the show. Sit back, relax, and let's have a day. I'm in the dark today. For all those people that watch the YouTube, I'm in the dark today. And there's only, in fact, there's no people that watch the YouTube. Nobody wants to go to the YouTube, and that is okay, dude. Because why would you want to sit and watch me in my dark office anyway? You wouldn't. You hardly even tune in. You're bored, and that's why you push this podcast every week, because you run out of your other podcast episodes, and that's okay, dude. That's okay. The fact that you tune in at all, the fact that you have me in your library at all is fantastic. What did we do an episode on last week? I don't even remember. Resolutions? Yeah. I think it was something about resolutions. That's how much I put into this. I don't even remember. This week's episode is not going to be as crazy thought out or magical or educational. This is one of those update episodes. I've got a couple things to talk about, couple things on my mind. The January New Year challenge that I'm running is hot and fresh and just off to a blazing start. Today is day number 10. Yes, day number 10. We started on the 3rd. It is the 12th. And the group is the best group that I've ever had. So if you listen to this podcast and you're part of that group, congrats. You're helping contribute to the success of that. By best group I've ever had, I mean the most active in the Facebook group, the most active in messaging me and having questions and trying to get everything figured out and effort-wise, right? And that's only going to lead to really, really great results. And I'm very excited about those results. We are, like I said, 10 days in. And it's that time during a 30-day challenge, right? Or really probably any challenge that lasts longer than 4 weeks, where it's like, oh, the shine has worn off, right? That initial, I'm signing up for a challenge, I can't wait. Like, the first week you're prepping, you're like, I'm prepping my food and I got my workout plan for tomorrow, and I've got like a new supplement, a new pre-workout that I bought. It feels good. Like for some reason, prepping and buying stuff for a new challenge or a new phase feels good. And then you hit Wednesday of week 2 and you're like, fuck, this sucks. Like, I don't like having to worry about this. It becomes a mental energy burden, because everything does when you're trying to implement a new habit or a new routine, right? What is habits and routines? It's essentially a collection of mental energies that we allow ourselves or bring ourselves to that create our day, right? And when we add something, for example, take away, say you work out right now 5 days a week, and on the weekends you rest. During the weekdays, that workout takes up some amount of mental energy. It obviously takes up physical energy. The physical energy is rarely the deficiency, right? The contributing factor as to why we don't work out, right? There are some days where you're just like, oh my God, I'm physically tired. Like my body needs a rest. Those are few and far between. And we'll be doing a podcast episode about overtraining here in the next couple months. because I think it's relevant to what I'm kind of doing right now as I teeter that line. But most of the time, even if you convince yourself that it is like your body needs a rest, it's your mind, it's your mental discipline and habitual energy that you're trying to give a break to, right? You take away that 45-minute workout, that hour workout, plus maybe a 10-minute drive to the gym and back, throw on a couple extra minutes here and there for whatever. It's 90 minutes of your day that you just opened up, free space, right? And that feels good. You just opened up 90 minutes per day for, an extra 90 minutes to sit on the couch or read a book or whatever makes you feel good and feels stress relieving, right? So when we go to add things to our routine, add things to our daily habits, it's stressing our mental energy. What am I going to do for a workout? How does this fit into the progression? I have to drive, deal with traffic, go there, be in front of people. I have to pack an outfit, gym clothes. Most people are like, I got to fucking snort my pre-workout or else I'm never going to be able to have enough energy to do this. I got to drink my fucking venti cappuccino or else there's no way I can lift this weight. It's the mental energy of it being a process, right? So that hits about 10 days into a challenge and you're like, fuck, this is resistance. And that's why you weren't doing it in the first place, because it was resistance, right? And the thing that I've been coming back to recently is, again, the non-negotiable aspect of things. You have to decide before you even start into a routine that no matter what the specifics of that routine are, and of course there's, you got to give yourself a 5 or 10% leeway on, I just can't make the gym today, or there's going to be days where you change your plans, but you can't give yourself excuses, right? You can't preload your excuses tab and say, all right, but once a week, if I'm not feeling it, I'll just not go. No, you can't do that. It's non-negotiable. It's like, and this is what I was saying, I come back to, look at the rest of your life and find things where you just do them regardless of what the rest of your day looks like, right? Your fucking dog gets run over by a car, you're still going to do these things. Like it's the worst day of your life. You get the worst news of your life and you still would do these because it just happened, right? Like putting on clothing, right? You have to wear clothes in our society. Unfortunately, this isn't the Amazon in the 1200s, or even maybe still today, some tribes do that, right? Maybe that would be better. I would like it more. But in our society, you have to pick an outfit and wear it wherever you go, right? Brushing your teeth. I hope anybody listening to this podcast at least brushes their teeth once a day. Regardless, I mean, you could think of the worst day of your life, you still brushed your teeth that day. Non-negotiable. You know that it has to happen every day. Somewhere along the line, way back when you were a child, your parents convinced you, for good reason, that this is something you do every day regardless, right? Showering, right? Bathing yourself. Now there's a little bit of, I'm not going to go like full Ashton Kutcher, right? But there's a little bit of leeway on that. But generally, there's a routine of bathing that at some point every day or I would say every day you bathe yourself, right? No judgment if you don't. There's weekend days where I don't shower. On a larger scale, some people have kids, right? you just don't get to not take care of your kids, especially if they're young kids, right? Like they actually rely on you to stay alive. Not in the sense of like, oh, you buy the food and your 14-year-old comes in and eats the food, right? He can, if you were to leave him at the house for a day, 24 hours without you, he would figure it out. But like a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old, or I would say even up through like an 8 or a 10-year-old, they rely on you. You can't just not be a parent. Like you wake up in the morning, you're like, see, I got to get my kids dressed for school and take them to daycare, and I got to make sure they eat their 3 meals, and I got to change the diaper. I just think I won't do those things today. Nobody says that. At least no good humans say that. Good parents, right? Non-negotiable. You've made that decision in your head, or you didn't even make the decision. It was just viewed as this is something that gets done regardless. And so, the last one I was going to say was work. And this one is definitely debatable, especially in the times of work from home. I saw some stat that like 30 people are working at like 39% not efficiency, but somebody had like a program on their employees and did like a study over 6 months or whatever, and found out that 39% of their employees from home were actually doing work 39% of the time they were clocked in. Nonetheless, showing up to work, kind of a non-negotiable, right? For most people. So this idea of whatever your routine looks like, and this is where it gets a little hairy, because fitness routines are a little bit more flexible and a little bit more fluid, right? You might start out and it's like, oh, I'm doing it 2 or 3 days a week. And then you could get to the point where I am, where I'm doing 2+ hours of training a day, 6 days a week, whatever. And that's why, taking stock and inventory of what your current goal is and what your current phase looks like is important, because you need to set those expectations. We weren't even going to go here in this podcast, baby, but we're talking about it. And so let's say that you decide, okay, I'm working out 4 days a week. I'm going to work out Monday, Tuesday, take Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, take the weekend off. That's going to be my routine. Great. Awesome. You set the days that you're going to work out. Let's just avoid the specifics, right? Like what you're going to be doing on those days and for how long. You now need to flip that into the psyche that you take, or you need to batch that up and combine it into the same mental bag that you have brushing your teeth and going to work and taking care of your kids. You have to approach that with the same kind of mentality. The gym is happening tomorrow, regardless of how I feel. I'm going to the gym. It does not matter what happens. That's part of my day. And once you start to flip into that, that's when consistency and habit becomes a whole lot easier. It's non-negotiable. You're going. And there's ways to deal with that too, right? Because not every day in the gym, you have this I think part of the reason why, especially people who are newer into fitness, they end up skipping, or their consistency is just shoddy all over the place, is because they have this fairy tale idea of what a day in the gym looks like. Every workout's supposed to be perfect, and I'm supposed to feel this way, and I'm supposed to go for this long, yada, yada, yada. And there has to be contingency for that, right? Several of, I would say 2 or 3 of my clients, we've used the strategy of, hey, I need you to just go to the gym and start stretching and rolling out your muscles, right? On the days where you don't feel like working out and you're just not going to do anything, Awesome. Lock that in. Trick yourself mentally and tell yourself that. But I need you to get to the gym and just start moving, doing a stretch routine, and rolling out your muscles. You're going to do that for 15 minutes. And inevitably, what happens? And so now you've downgraded the task at hand. You've downgraded the obstacle to a speed bump instead of a log in the road, right? A tree fell down. That's what a workout feels like sometimes. Is that straight road in the middle of the forest. It's just perfect. And then some days the workout is the fucking fallen tree that you have to maneuver, right? But now by telling ourselves we're just going to stretch and roll out, we've downgraded that tree to a couple sticks. And we can run over those sticks and get past those without a whole lot of issue. But then what happens is now you've driven to the gym. You've still taken your workout. You've forgotten about all this other mental energy that you thought was so taxing because the main task became this simple, doable thing, right? Now you're in your gym clothes. You brought your water bottle. You're stretching. You're rolling out. And about minute 8 or 10 of that 15 to 20 minute stretch and roll, all of a sudden you're like, maybe I'll hop on the treadmill. Maybe I'll, you know what? I'll do. And people, I've done this to myself countless times. And for me, it usually happens in the winter, like this time of year when in Iowa, it's very hard to just go outside. Now today we got lucky, 39 degrees. And you may say to yourself, holy shit, 39 degrees. There's no way I'm working out in the garage at 39 degrees. Well, when it's been -1, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, here's a new one. Not the yawn, but the sneeze. And now it's gone away because I'm talking. Heat wave right now. T-shirt and shorts weather. If I've got the garage door down, if I've got it up, I throw in a little hoodie and I'm good. But usually if I don't want to do that, I'll just take a dumbbell and a med ball inside in my basement and we'll just figure something out. And I'll be like, hey, I'm going to do 20 minutes, or I'm going to do these simple movements, like 4 movements. I'm going to do 4 movements and I'm going to break them up into 2 EMOMs and that's it. And then what do you know? Fucking an hour later, I've morphed those 2 EMOMs into like these interval workouts. I added another 4 movements and I'm more tired than I would have been if I would have actually done my normal workout in the garage, right? Same thing. These people start to then say, well, maybe I'll hop on the treadmill or the elliptical and I'll just get like 10 minutes of cardio in. So they hop on. 5 or 6 minutes into that, they're like, you know what? I could probably do like 15 or 20 minutes of cardio. Yeah. And then they almost get done with their cardio and they're like, well, shit, now I stretched for 10 minutes. I've been doing cardio for 20. I've been here for a half hour and I'm like doing a workout. Let's go hit a few sets of some lifting. Let's go do what I was supposed to do today, whatever's on my workout sheet. And hey, guess what? You just tricked yourself into working out. All because you just got there, right? It was a non-negotiable to show up to the gym. Anything after that, don't worry about it. It'll take care of itself. So that's where we're at in the program right now. And a little bit of mindset talk. At some point, you have to flip the switch in your brain that tell yourself whatever you have to tell yourself. For me, it usually comes down to like, I'm different, right? Who knows how many people are actually out there grinding, what the percentage is. But in my mind, I like to tell myself that I'm the 1%, right? You take 100 people, I'm the only motherfucker doing this right now. I'm the only one putting in work. I'm the only one doing it when I don't want to do it, right? I tell myself those things. And then you have to, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, and I'm competitive. So that's why those are the thoughts that I have. But whatever it is, you latch onto that and you learn to love that shit. You seek it out. You almost want to be unmotivated so that you can then have the opportunity to still walk down into the garage and do a 90-minute workout and you didn't even want to. And you're still fucking getting the work in. That's how it works in my mind. right? So that's sort of where we're at in the challenge. You know, the challengers are realizing, oh, this, like, they're motivated by the other challengers in the Facebook group, like seeing their workouts, seeing their meals, seeing their people post about winning each day, right? And that's great. The problem is the Facebook group ain't always going to be there. In the end, it's you, yourself, and it's not as fun to say that as me, myself, and I. It's you, yourself, and you. You, yours, and yourself, whatever. You got to be able to find it within you with no external. You have to be able to find it within you. You got to find something. And I just posted this in the Facebook group. You have to find some deeper, entrenched inspiration for your life. And that's going to be different for everybody. It might be similar for a lot of people. I would say the main one, especially as people get older, is like, hey, I want to do this for my family, right? I want to be accountable to my wife and my kids, or my husband and my kids and my parents and my brothers and sisters. For my family, I want to be accountable. I want to take care of myself so that I'm around and I'm not a burden, right? And I can be healthy and people don't have to worry about me. And that is a great inspiration. Everybody should have that inspiration, right? It's part of my inspiration, right? I'm 27. It's not a huge part of my inspiration right now. It's a small piece of the pie, but it's part of it. But you have to find that biggest piece of the pie in your motivation pie chart and anchor to that. Something that when you wake up and it's fucking warm in those soft blankets in the morning, and it's, your eye, to open your eyes, it hurts. You have to rub the tired out of your eyes. You're like, oh my God, you're a little sore from the day before. You kind of feel the cold rush of air breeze by your leg as you pull it out from underneath the blanket. And you're like, oh, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do this. And in that moment, whatever that deep inspiration is that is lodged into your routine, the thing you anchor to, you can think about it, and it is something that will make you say, fuck, it's non-negotiable. I got to get up. There's no choice here. I don't get to make this decision. I got to get up. This is happening no matter what. Let's get to work. Right? For me, right now, the biggest piece of the pie is probably my competitive aspirations, right? And in fact, that's going to be a whole other topic I just brought up to the lovely lady, the wife. My ideas currently, as of middle of January 2022, of what I want my competitive CrossFit life to look like over the next, spoiler alert, 2.5 years, 3 years. And I know, right? I because I'm a coach, I have this luxury, but I know that if the goals that I have set for myself, right? And ultimately just being competitive in the sport of CrossFit, knowing I'm not going to be the best, right? I don't have the time to put in and train. I don't have that luxury. Knowing that I am with my own specific situation, I'm trying to max out that situation. Well, it's very easy for me. It's 1-to-1. If I wake up, this morning was a run day because it was 39 degrees, right? Like the average temps right now are in the 20s, 30s, if you're lucky, right? I'm running, rowing, and biking 2 times a week each. 2 of those can be done inside. The running, not so much. I don't have a treadmill. So I have to pick the warm days to run. Sometimes I don't know if it's going to be a warm day or not. This morning I woke up 36 degrees at 6 a.m. Today's a run day. And Lauren knows that too. And she goes, oh, you get to run today. And I'm like, that's right. I kind of giggled. I'm like, that's right. I get to. I decided that. That's a fucking privilege. That's the structure, the routine, the plan that I set. I made that choice. Why would I complain about that shit? right? So after a quick little chuckle of like, bet your ass, the tights went on, the hat went on, the sweatshirt went on. We laced up them hokas and we went for a little jog, baby. And if I don't, again, the 1-to-1 direct correlative, if I don't, then I left some on the table, right? I believe that the training plan that I'm on, that I've set out for myself, specifically my situation, in that plan, it included 36 minutes of running this morning. And if I don't do that 36 minutes, is it going to kill me? Is it going to ruin the whole plan? No, it's not. No, it's not. And that's what fucking burns people, man. Because on a 1-day time frame, they can go, you know what? They can convince themselves, maybe my traps, my body from yesterday's workout, sore as fuck, right? I probably very easily could have convinced myself, you know what? Maybe I won't work out this morning. But with my goals, specifically with my aspirations to be competitive in CrossFit, leaving some on the table, right? And I'm going to know that. I'm going to know that at the end of the week, Wednesday, I just hit an hour. I didn't do 2 hours. And guess what? There's people out there hitting 3 hours a day. Right? And as ridiculous as that is, again, that's the fucking game I've signed up for. If I want to be competitive, can't leave any on the table up to my potential. You got to find a way to anchor to something. And that's what anchors me. I then wake up, I think about that. I think, man, if I don't do this, then I'm not being accountable to what I said I wanted, right? I was fucking lying to myself. You're a liar, dude. Then I get to look myself in the face and say, you're a liar. You're a little bitch liar because you said you wanted something and then your actions did not match what needs to be done to get to that something. So congrats, you fucking played yourself. And that's going to be the title of this episode. You played yourself. And it is, and I thought about this morning, it is my number one fear to play myself, man. To be the Instagram fitness guy, not that I am. It's not like I'm some fit fluencer, some fitspo fucking guy. I post my workouts and some of the stuff I do on there, but it's not like I'm a big time fitness guy, but that's what I portray. Anybody who does come to my profile, they see, oh, he's in the garage working out all the time. Like he's the workout guy, right? I tweet about it. I do have a podcast about it. The other podcast I do, I talk about it. That's who I am. And that's who I want to be. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to act and behave in a different way. You played yourself. Talk is fucking cheap. Man, talk is cheap. And I'm feeling myself right now. And I was feeling the same way during my workout today. I was feeling the same way. I'm on a fucking tear right now. And yeah, I cuss a lot in this podcast. Don't care. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Didn't even talk about the other couple of things. I wanted to talk about sodium intake and I wanted to bring up hydration, which we did a whole episode on, but we'll bring up water and hydration multiple times over the course of this podcast life. Not going to talk about either of them because we went off on our own tangent. You fucking played yourself, my guy. Don't leave any on the table today, tomorrow, or this year. Let's have one. I'll talk to you next week.